All right, ladies, gentlemen, and anyone in between, give it up for your host for tonight, Mush.
What up, fellow Rivals players? In this video, I will go through every single thing that I have learnt over many hours of playing everyone's favorite Landshark, Jeff. Such as Bubbles, his healing beam, his right-click Aqua Burst, and his signature swimming, hide and seek, and many, many other niche things you can do to optimize your Jeff gameplay. Then you will have a big brain. Like me. So without further ado, let's get started. Jeff's left-click Joyful Splash is his main source of healing. It heals for 130 health per second to allies, and deals 70 damage per second to enemies, and can pierce through all units, like so. And as you can see, it also does damage to all enemies it passes through. Pretty neat, right? And just to demonstrate, it passes through multiple teammates all at once and heals for the same amount. With the basics out of the way, let's show you some more niche uses for it. Joyful Splash is a fairly good way to destroy terrain, since the beam itself is made up of multiple projectiles. Joyful Splash is also good at removing other summons, such as Moon Knight's Ancient Ankh, Neymar's Monstro Spawn, and Loki's Regeneration Domain. Right, now that I have yapped on for almost 2 minutes and I've only talked about one button, I think it's time for Bubble to take the stage. Hey, you. Yes, you. Looking at your phone and or other monitor. Cut that out and pay attention please. Thanks, you serotonin-deficient freakazoid. Just kidding. I love you really. Right, now that we have lowered our cellular devices and closed down Subway Surfer, let's get back into learning about Bubbles. Time to explain Bubbles in detail. Jeff has access to 3 bubble charges that restore over time. They have a time limit of 180 seconds each, which never really matters, but it's good to know. Jeff can place up to 5 bubbles total. Placing a 6th bubble will remove the first one that you placed. The bubble that is removed to make space for the newest one still applies its effects to teammates if they are close enough to it when it pops. So, on to what bubbles actually do. The bubbles provide yourself and all allies with 30 HP per second for 4 seconds, which is 120 HP total, as well as giving a 60% movement speed boost. What the in-game menu does not mention is that it also provides a healing amplification of 15% from all sources, including other strategists' healing abilities. With that in mind, that means that each bubble actually heals for 138 total. Why this is not on the main page of Rivals when you look at your hero's abilities is beyond me. I hope one day that they add that into the game. Bubbles are also very useful as pseudo-health packs that can be deployed over great distances, perfect for teammates that are far away. As to how far they can be launched is only limited to your imagination, but they do travel in an arc when you use them, so you will have to get used to that if you want to be precise. They also can be bounced off of walls to reach around corners, this making Jeff one of the only healers that can heal without vision. The last thing of note about the bubbles is that the effect duration does not stack. It only refreshes the duration once you come into contact with another bubble. So you cannot throw multiple bubbles to burst heal, unlike what pre-rework Jeff could do. So to get maximum value out of your bubbles, you need to wait until you see the green outline around allied health bars disappear before using another. Okay, onto my favorite part of Jeff's kit, his swimming ability Hide and Seek. Jeff has the ability Hide and Seek that helps him dive down into the ground, getting a smaller hurt box and gaining a 60% speed boost and healing for 35 HP per second. But he cannot do this forever. Jeff is limited to only being able to swim for up to 6 seconds ever since his rework. While swimming with Hide and Seek, Jeff can also travel across walls in any direction. To go up walls, simply press the jump key while swimming. Right, now for something about his swimming you might not know. Jeff is fully CC immune while he is swimming. You can tell by the yellow outline on his health bar. CC stands for crowd control, by the way, for those who are not hip, and with it, like myself. Here is my favorite example of how effective Jeff's hide and seek can be. It stops the effect of Eye of Agamotto. Just remember you're not completely immune in this state, as you still take damage. But that is still pretty neat. So I thought I'd take a little venture down into the lab to show you a list of what Jeff's hide and seek is CC immune from. Since gaining footage of every single ability in the game is tiresome, and I'd like to sleep at some point. Here we go. Black Widow's Edge Dancer, Cap's Super Soldier Slam and Bucky Team Up, Emma Frost's Crystal Kick, Carbon Crush and Psionic Seduction, the Hulk's Radioactive Lockdown, and Monster Hulk's World Breaker, Hawkeye's Crescent Slash and the Lunar Team Up, Ice Arrow, the Human Torch's Flaming Meteor, Invisible Woman's Force Physics, Psionic Vortex, Agile Strike, and Invisible Boundary, Iron Fist's Kunlun Kick, and the last hit of Jeet Kune Do, Lunar Snow's Absolute Zero, Magic's Umbral Incursion, Groot's Strangling Prison, Hela's Soul Drainer, Magneto's Mag Cannon, Moon Knight's Ancient Ankh, and the third hit of Triple Eclipse, Mantis's Spore Slumber, Namor's Horn of Proteus, Wolverine's Feral Leap and Last Stand, Thor's Lighting Realm and Storm Surge, Venom's Frenzied Arrival and Feast of the Abyss, the Thing's Yancey Street Charge, Clobbering Time and his new team-up Flying Thing, the Winter Soldier's Tainted Voltage, Trooper's Fist and Bionic Hook, Mr. Fantastic's Flexible Elongation, Spider-Man's Spectacular Spin, Amazing Combo and Get Over Here, Phoenix's Psionic Detonation, Scarlet Witch's Dark Seal, Penny's Cyberweb Snare, the previously mentioned Eye of Agamotto, Storm's Omega Hurricane, and Jeff Team-Up, Jeff Nado, Jeff's Aqua Burst and his ultimate. It's Jeff. And last, and certainly least, Squirrel Girl's Squirrel Blockade. Phew, that was quite a list. I think I need a breather after all that. I am going to have a break. After that I will talk more about Jeff's Aqua Burst. Oh hey, I did not hear you come in. Me. Oh, I am just doing some, research. Yes, research into the next topic of this video. Aqua Burst. If you can believe it. I think they bought it. Yeah, so. Let me just gather my things and we will continue the video. So, Aqua Burst is Jeff's right-click ability with 3 charges, that does 70 damage total and knocks enemies back when hit directly. It also has potential for pushing players off the map if they are close enough to a ledge. Unlike Jeff's left-click Joyful Splash, it does not pierce through enemies. But, when not a direct hit, Aqua Burst still deals 25 damage in a 3-meter radius, so it's decent when enemies are close together. Aqua Burst has an interaction with flying characters. When hit with a direct shot, they fall for a short duration. And if you can land multiple direct hits in a row, you can chain this effect. Beware that this does not stun, simply puts them in a full state, so they can still use all of their abilities. It also does not deal extra headshot damage. In fact, Jeff is completely incapable of dealing any headshot damage at all. So aiming this ability becomes a lot easier when all you have to think about is hitting body shots for full damage. Last but not least, Jeff's ultimate ability, It's Jeff, is an ability that allows Jeff to disappear under the map, and reappear later to gobble up any heroes that are in the radius. Once Jeff has eaten any targets in the radius, he gains the effects of hide and seek, until the ultimate ends, which at any point you can choose to spit your targets out in the direction you are facing. His ultimate deals 25 damage per second to enemies, for a total of 150 damage over the full duration, 6 seconds maximum. If Jeff has no targets inside his ultimate, Jeff will reappear and will not be able to take any actions for a brief period. CC immunity also stops Jeff from eating a target, so you have to time your ultimates wisely. Jeff's ultimate also eats teammates, healing them for 225 HP per second. And if they are full health, they gain an overflow of bonus health up to a maximum of 150. This makes Jeff's ultimate a fairly okay way of saving a teammate or resetting a bad fight into a more winnable scenario, since you now have the ability to place the enemy heroes where you want them to be. But try to keep in mind, your teammates might be using their own skills to turn a fight, and you might waste your own teammates' abilities using it like this all the time. An interesting thing I found is that when you are in your ultimate, you do still technically have a hitbox, as your ultimate cannot go up certain terrain, as if you were still there walking around. You can see in this example that the ultimate breaks these rails even though nothing is there. Another interesting thing about Jeff's ultimate is that it is possible to move enemy players into your spawn room, which the game classes them as out of bounds and does damage to them until they die of full damage. And the game still credits you for the elimination. One thing I forgot to mention about Jeff's kit is that he has a passive, called Oblivious Cuteness, that gives Jeff a 70% damage reduction from headshot damage. Here is an example. Alrighty, since there is almost nothing basic anymore to talk about, let's get into the team-ups that Jeff has access to. I will explain the basics of what they do, then I will go over all the niche things I have learnt and discovered over my time playing Jeff. First up, the Groot team-up. Jeff and Rocket Raccoon gain access to jump onto Groot's shoulder. They also gain 35% damage reduction while using this team-up. While still allowing them to use all of their non-mobility abilities, it has no cooldown and can be used up to 12 meters away from Groot, given that you can see him. Next up, the Venom team-up. Jeff gains a new ability called Guardian of the Deep, which attaches a symbiote tendril onto teammates within range, healing them over the duration for 70 HP per second for 5 seconds. With a small heal burst at the end of the ability, 280 total healing. It has no limit on how many teammates you can heal at once, and breaks if a teammate moves out of its effective range, or they break line of sight with the tendril. The last team-up Jeff has access to is with Storm, called Jeffnado, where Jeff combines his ultimate with Storm's, extending its duration and sucking up players into the tornado if they are near it for more than 1.5 seconds. Anyone caught inside the tornado takes 80 damage every half second. If they survive the ultimate, they are spat out in the direction Storm is looking. So, onto the weird and wacky stuff. Let's start with one of my most used ones which most Jeff players will already know, as it comes with playing Jeff more effectively. Something I like to call fast fall. Fast falling is the act of using hide and seek while mid-air, but only for a moment, making Jeff shoot downwards way faster than he would normally. Fast falling while traveling upwards, like on the jump pads that are on certain maps, causes you to remove all momentum you had, and instead go downwards, which is pretty neat for being a hard-to-hit target in certain scenarios. To be able to fast fall, I recommend these settings for Jeff. Go to Keyboard or Controller, Combat, select Jeff the Landshark, then put Hold to dive as yes. Having this setting on will make it so you have to hold down the key to swim, giving you more control in my opinion, but it's entirely your own preference how you want to play. Okay, from fast falling, let's move on to some useful tips to know from the team-ups and how they can be applied. In terms of the Groot team-up, it's kind of a backwards team-up as Jeff does not want to be anywhere near the front line, and Groot does. So in my personal opinion, the best use for this team-up is to use Groot as a dash point. In case you're in a bad spot and need to leave really fast, you can zip over to Groot and then fast fall off of his shoulder for a huge burst of speed. For the Venom team-up, so far it's quite a simple ability with not a lot of niche interactions, but most people do not realize, is that it can be activated while you are using hide and seek, and that this ability has an overhealing effect, for up to 100 bonus health for teammates around you, and it has a visual AoE to show you its maximum range. It's also more accurate to say that the effect is more of a spherical shape, not a cylinder shape, so it's good for healing teammates that are above you, like Storm or Ultron for example. Speaking of cylindrical shapes, Jeff's ultimate It's Jeff is in fact a cylinder, with a 10-meter radius and a 5-meter height, as shown in this example. So you cannot simply avoid the ultimate by jumping, as you would need to clear this line to not be affected by the ability. Speaking of Jeff's ultimate, the team-up with Storm has an interaction where you can activate the ability Jeffnado in any order. You can use Jeff's normal ultimate and swallow up enemies, then Storm's ultimate can go over it and they will combine after a brief period. So you do not need to wait for a Storm to ult every time to use this team-up, but that takes a bit of communication to get right. And as we all know, Marvel Rivals players are very normal and can communicate effectively, so I do not think that will ever be a problem. One final note, I see a lot of Jeff players not knowing the most effective way to get kills with their ultimate. As I see a lot of players jumping off of ledges without really needing to. In a lot of cases you can simply sit slightly over the ledge and look down, and the speed of the fall on most maps will make the player hit the map boundary before they can react. As to how close you can sit over a ledge, you can see here that you can be very far off the edge but not fall off. It takes some getting used to, but it's not exactly complicated. Now then, where did I put that whiteboard? I swear it was here a minute ago. Ah, here it is. Ahem. Here is a chart to show you which heroes you almost need to jump with every time, as they will have an ability that allows them to get back up, or they can simply fly. I have put them into two categories to make it simple, one being jump, the other being don't jump, for simplicity's sake. There is only one hero that was difficult to assess, as Cloak and Dagger are one hero, but it depends on which one you have inside your ultimate that decides the outcome. If it's Cloak, jump. If it's Dagger, don't jump, as Dagger has not enough time to swap to Cloak to float back up. Just to mention, this list is liable to change as heroes are always getting changes, but please note, this list was made during Season 3, before Blade was among us. Thank you. No, you're too kind. So that about wraps it up for this video. I hope you have learnt something about Jeff the Landshark, everyone's favourite shark friend. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I hope to see you again. Goodbye for now.